this coming Shabbat is also Yom Kippur, the holiest day on the Jewish calendar. The Day of Atonement is a 25-hour fast from sundown this year on Friday until nightfall Saturday night, a day in which we spend almost the entire day in synagogue fasting, focusing on prayers of forgiveness with as much sincerity and fervor as possible to ensure that metaphorically we will be written by God into the book of life, a book of blessing and health for the coming year, so that we, by committing ourselves to teshuvah, repentance, tefillah, prayer, and tzedakah, acts of loving kindness or justice or charity, can ensure that we can have a year of blessing and health. It is the Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur itself, is filled with meaning and symbolism. And one of the things that we do on Yom Kippur, aside from fasting, is dressing in a particular way to help focus our attention on the prayers and so that we won't be distracted. And so one of the things we do, it's not just that the rabbi and cantor in synagogue wear a white robe or even the more traditional kittel that I am wearing right now, but even everybody in the congregation is encouraged to wear a kittel as well. This white robe is supposed to highlight the significance and sanctity of the day. The color white in Judaism represents purity. It represents sanctity. And it's not just worn on Yom Kippur. It's interesting that a kittel is worn at other stages of life and other holidays as well. There is a tradition that a person who leads the Seder on Passover wears a kittel. A person, a groom about to be married under the chuppah, under the wedding canopy, wears a kittel. And tragically, when one dies, the tachrichim, the shrouds that one is dressed in, after being ritually washed, the corpse is then dressed in tachrichim, in the traditional shrouds, but also if the person owned a kittel, the person would be dressed in a kittel as well. And so the kittel, Yom Kippur and Passover are these very significant days in which we think about our connection to history and think about the important role these prayers have for our lives, and to be worn at a wedding and at a funeral to highlight the transformative event that those are, going from living as a single person to starting a new life as a married man. A kittel is appropriate, and the soul entering its next stage, dressed in a kittel, approaching God to hope traditionally that the soul will enter Gan Eden, the traditional idea of the world to come, the Garden of Eden. And so that's the significance of the kittel on Yom Kippur. So by wearing the kittel, we recognize also the significance of the day itself, and it helps focus our attention on the fervor of the prayer and the hope for the transformation that will occur in our lives as a result of spending the day in prayer in synagogue. I wish everyone a Gemar Chatima Tova. May we be sealed for good in the book of life. Shana Tova.